Alex Stratified here, and I've got a strut bar in my hand here. It's a very common piece amongst enthusiasts, and we want to see what it actually does. And you know, it's pretty good theory. I mean, you're tying the strut towers together, you're making the whole chassis more rigid. That's always a good thing. But is it something that you can feel? It's going to be difficult to be something that we can measure directly, just simply due to all the components that are involved, but is it at least something that gives you a nice feedback, quicker steering, sharper turning? So we've got our STI here that we're preparing for time attack. We've got a whole bunch of suspension goodies to go along with, of course, our tuning, which is already on the way on the car. You'll see it on the dyno soon. But I wanted to put this piece as a standalone on the car before we throw on all the other suspension goodies, so don't muddle the results. It's not controversial in the sense of how it works, but you know, I've always been a little bit of a skeptic. Does it really make a difference? So let's throw on, let's find out. So strut bar's in, as you saw it a little bit earlier, and had a chance to take this thing on a drive, took it through the usual turns, usual corners, tried wet, tried dry, and to answer the question, does it make a difference? Well, yes, a little bit. Now let me go a little bit more into that. Strut bars and chassis rigidity allow your suspension to work better. And what that means is that instead of the chassis itself flexing and responding to your inputs, then the suspension does the articulation that is required, and that gives you usually a better precision. It allows you to actually run a more sophisticated, more precise suspension, and overall it enhances the perceived feel and the response to the vehicle. So strut bars are employed by a lot of OEMs. We see them in anything from Mustang GTs, BMW M3s, and so on. So they can't be dismissed as a tool to help increase the rigidity of the chassis. What I personally felt in this STI was that when I pushed it especially hard and leaned on the front end, so trail braking, just really leaning on the front end, it felt like it gave me a little bit more stability, a little bit more repeatability going into a turn. So I would say it felt like it helped the front end grip a little bit more. How much more? Well, there are other things that you could do to your suspension that are going to help a lot more. And one of the key things that I stress about these chassis is that from the factory, the alignment is really set up to understeer. So that's the first thing I would do. Would I do a strut bar second? Probably not. I would, and you're going to see us continue to build onto this vehicle, and you'll see what I would recommend a second, and it's something about changing the geometry rather than just stiffening the chassis. So you can get some top mounts that change the geometry, allow you to run a little bit more camber, change the geometry in the back, and that is going to be more effective. However, as an add-on, especially as you run stiffer springs, as you run really sticky tires, and you really lean on the grip and on the suspension, then it's a nice add-on, it's a nice to have, and it completes an overall suspension package. So that's kind of the synopsis on the strut bar. We're going to put it on before we changed anything else, just to really get a feel for it. And from here on, we'll continue building. So keep watching.